Hello grade 10 students! Welcome to Mathematics 10 video lesson. But before that, take a look and observe the following pictures. First, we have the map of Pampanga. Maps help us to know how far we are traveling. Next, we have two plumbers. They install and repair pipes that supply water. They are efficient in measuring of plumbing materials. And next, we have engineers or surveyors. Makes precise measurements to determine property boundaries, particularly in construction projects. And because of COVID-19, we keep a distance of at least 1 meter from each other, especially in crowded places or in groups. What comes in your mind as you see those pictures? They are related to or describing distance. And for our today's topic, this is all about the distance formula. Let us begin. And for our learning objectives, we have the following. First, to derive the distance formula. 2. Find the distance between a pair of points on the coordinate plane. 3. Appreciate how the distance formula facilitates finding solution to real-life problems. Distance between 2 points. We have the x-axis and the y-axis intersect at one point. That's why we have the xy plane. Point P has a coordinate of x sub 1 and y. Point Q has a coordinate of x sub 2 and y. Connect these 2 points, we have a horizontal line. The horizontal distance between 2 points is the absolute value of the difference of their x coordinates. Or by using the formula, distance or d is equal to the absolute value of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 because x sub 2 and x sub 1 are not equal. So therefore, the distance from P to Q is equal to the distance from Q to P. Point A has a coordinate points of x and y sub 1. Point B has a coordinates of x and y sub 2. Connect these 2 points, we have a vertical line. The vertical distance between 2 points is the absolute value of the difference of their y coordinates because y sub 2 and y sub 1 are not equal. So using the formula, the distance or d is equal to the absolute value of y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Therefore, the distance from A to B is also equal to the distance from B to A. Again, we have the x-axis and the y-axis intersect at one point, and that is the point of origin. So this time we have P1 has a coordinate of x sub 1 and y sub 1. P2 has a coordinate of x sub 2 and y sub 2. Connect these 2 points, P1 and P2, we have a diagonal line or a slant line. So to determine the distance between 2 points of a slant line segment, add the square of the difference of the abscissa to the square of the difference of the ordinates and take the positive square root of the sum. Or by using the distance formula, d is equal to the square root of quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Example number 1. Find the distance between point P. Point P has a coordinate of x is 3 and y is 2. And point Q has a coordinate of x is 10 and y is 2. So we can now locate our point P and point Q using our xy plane. So point P, from the point of origin 3 units to the right and 2 units upward, and that is point P. So this will be now our x sub 1 and y sub 1. Then locate point Q from the point of origin 10 units to the right and 2 units upward, and that will be our point Q. So this will be served as our x sub 2 and y sub 2. Connect point P to Q. The line is horizontal when they both have same value of y coordinates. As you can see, their coordinate points, if the points are located horizontally from each other, the y coordinates will be the same. You can look to see how far apart the x coordinates are. Or using the formula, since point P and Q are aligned horizontally, then the distance from P to Q is equal to the absolute value of the difference of their x coordinates, or PQ now is equal to the absolute value of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is equal to, substitute, x sub 2 is 10, x sub 1 is 3, then 10 minus 3 is the absolute value of positive 7. Then absolute value of positive 7 is equal to 7 units. So take note, the absolute value of positive number and the absolute value of negative number is equal to positive. Okay, so meaning to say, from point Q to point P to Q, so you will count to the right, you have 7 units apart. So therefore, the distance from P to Q is the same as the distance from Q to P, is equal to 7 units. Okay, we have example number 2. Mina's town is built on a grid similar to the coordinate plane. She's riding her bicycle from her home at point A, where point A has a coordinate of x is positive 4 and y is equal to negative 5. So we can allocate this in our xy plane from the point of origin. Since x is positive 4, so we have to move 4 units to the right. Y is negative 5, then move 5 units downward, and that is point A. So, x sub 1 now is 4, and y sub 1 is negative 5. Riding her bicycle only going to the mall at point B, where B has a coordinate of x is positive 4 and y is positive 3. So, again, we can locate this using our xy plane. From the point of origin, we have x is positive 4 going to the right, 4 units, then x is positive 3. Okay, move upward 3 units, and that is point B. So for now will be our x sub 2, and 3 will be now our y sub 2. Connect these 2 points. It is a vertical line when they both have the same x coordinates. So that's why the distance between 2 points is always non-negative, or it is always positive. So investigate their y ordinates. They are not equal. Y sub 2 is 3, y sub 1 is negative 5. Subtract y values. It is positive when the points are different. Investigate their x ordinates. They are equal. Subtract x value. It is 0 if the points are the same. Since point A and point B are aligned vertically, then getting their distance from Mina's home to the mall is equal to the absolute value of the difference of their y ordinates, or that is equal to AB is equal to the absolute value of y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Then we will substitute. Y sub 2 is equal to 3 minus y sub 1 is equal to negative 5. So as you can see, we have the open and close parenthesis for negative 5. Okay, so this is involves subtraction of integers. So you will change the sign of negative 5 because it is the subtrahend, then proceed on the process of addition. Therefore, AB now is equal to the absolute value of 3 plus 5 is equal to the absolute value of positive 8, and that is equal to absolute value of positive 8 is equal to 8. Another way is you have to use the multiplication process. So the absolute value of 3 negative times negative 5 is equal to positive 5. So therefore, that is also equal to the absolute value of 3 plus 5, and that is the absolute value of positive 8, and that is equal to 8 kilometers. So we have the distance from Mina's home to the mall is equal to 8 kilometers. Why is it kilometers? Because in our problem, each unit on the graph denotes kilometer block. So therefore, the distance from Mina's home to the mall is also equal to the distance from the mall to Mina's home, and that is equal to 8 kilometers. Example number 3. Along Aguinaldo Highway are the houses of 4 grade 10 students, namely Jose, Emilio, Gabriela, and Antonio. Their teacher's house is some blocks away from Gabriela's house. Question number 1. What is the distance between Emilio's house and Gabriela's house? First, we have to find the coordinate points of Emilio's house using the grid of our xy plane. So, we have now the coordinate points of Emilio's house. X is 2 and y is 2 also. This will be now our x of 1 and y of 1. Same case, in getting the coordinate points of Gabriela's house, we will use our xy plane or the grid in our xy plane where x is equals to positive 7 and y also is equal to positive 2. This will be now our x of 2 and y of 2. Connect Emilio's house to Gabriela's house. We have a horizontal line. The line is horizontal when they both have the same y coordinates. Then using the formula, the distance from Emilio's house to Gabriela's house is equal to the absolute value of the difference of their x coordinates. And that is the absolute value of x of 2 minus x of 1. X of 2 is equal to 7 minus x of 1 is equal to 2. Then, the absolute value of 7 minus 2 is equal to the absolute value of positive 5, and the distance from Emilio's house to Gabriela's house is equal to positive 5. Meaning to say, there are 5 houses away from Emilio's house to Gabriela's house. Next, question number 2. How about the distance between their teacher's house and Gabriela's house? First, we can now determine first the coordinate points of their teacher's house using the grid of our xy plane, and that is x is equal to positive 7 and y also is equal to positive 7. This time, these coordinate points will be now our x of 2 and y of 2. Gabriela's coordinate points will be now our x of 1 and y of 1. Connect their teacher's house to Gabriela's house. It is a vertical line. The line is vertical when they have both the same value of x coordinates, or by using the formula in getting the distance from their teacher's house to Gabriela's house is equal to the absolute value of the difference of their y ordinates, or that is equal to the absolute value of y sub 2 minus y sub 1, and substitute y sub 2 is 7, y sub 1 is equal to 2. Then, absolute value of 7 minus 2 is equal to the absolute value of positive 5, and the distance from their teacher's house to Gabriella's house is equal to 5. Meaning to say, there are 5 houses away from their teacher's house to Gabriella's house. Question number 3. Find the distance between the teacher's house and Emilio's house. Connect the teacher's house to Emilio's house. We have a diagonal line, or it is a slant line. So therefore, we can now use the formula for distance, and that is the distance formula. So from the teacher's house to Emilio's house, we have the square root of quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So we will just substitute the value of x sub 2 and x sub 1. In this case, we have the same value of x sub 2 and y sub 2. As you can see also, we have the same value of x sub 1 and y sub 1. Then substitute on the formula. We have x sub 2 is 7, x sub 1 is 2, getting the difference, and that is 7 minus 2, and that is equal to 5. Then 5 squared is equal to 25. Then plus, same case, we have y sub 2 minus y sub 1, we have 7 minus 2, and that is 5. 5 squared is equal to 25. Then the square root of 25 plus 25, and that is equal to the square root of 50. Then the factors of square root of 50 is equal to the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. Or the distance from their teacher's house to Emilio's house is equal to 5 the square root of 2, because square root of 25 is a perfect square. That's why we have 5 the square root of 2. Square root of 2 is approximately 1.41 times 5, and that is 7.04. Meaning to say, from the teacher's house to Emilio's house, there are 7 houses away. Investigate our right triangle. What can you say about our right triangle? As you see, we have the same distance from Emilio's house to Gabriella's house, or the adjacent side of the right triangle, and the distance from Gabriella's house to the teacher's house, and that is the opposite side of the right triangle. It is also 5. So what kind of triangle we have in our figure? It is a isosceles right triangle. So from the definition, an isosceles triangle is a right triangle that consists of 2 equal length legs. Since the 2 legs of the right triangle are equal in length, then the corresponding angles will be also congruent. Example number 4. While training for a marathon, you decide to run from your home at point E, where point E has a coordinate of x is 10 and y is 3. So this will be our x sub 1 and y sub 1. Through that part to point C has a coordinate of x is 7 and y is 7 also. And that will be our x sub 2 and y sub 2. Connect point E to point C, or from the house of the runner going to the park, it is a diagonal line or a slant line. So that segment, we need to use the distance formula. And by the distance formula, we have D is equal to the square root of quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So we will just substitute the given. We come up to the square root of 9 plus square root of 16, and that is square root of 25. Then square root of 25 is equal to 5. It is a perfect square. So a runner covered from his home going to the park is equal to 5 miles. Because in our problem, for every 1 unit is equivalent to 1 mile. From the park running along the road at point D has a coordinate of x is 7 and y is 3. We don't need the distance formula for that, because we can count the distance horizontally, and that is equal to 4 units. Or by using the formula, from point C to point D is equal to the absolute value of their y coordinates, and that is 7 minus 3. The absolute value of 7 minus 3 is equal to the absolute value of 4, and that is equal to 4 miles. So the distance covered by a runner from the park going to the road is equal to 4 miles. Running back home again, we don't need again the distance formula. We can just count horizontally, and that is equal to 3 units. Or by using the formula, we have from D going back home, and that is the absolute value of their x coordinates, and that is 10 minus 7 is equal to the absolute value of 3, then that is equal to 3. So from the road going back home, a runner covered 3 miles. As you can see, the running path of a runner, it is in the form of a right triangle. So we just only add the 3 sides of the right triangle. We can determine the total distance covered by a runner. Or a way of checking is by using the Pythagorean theorem. As you can see, the square of the hypotenuse side of the right triangle is equal to the sum of the square of the 2 sides of the right triangle. This will be now satisfy the Pythagorean theorem, or the length satisfy the Pythagorean theorem, then it is a right triangle. Therefore, the distance covered by a runner from his home, going to the park, then going to the road, then going back home again, and that is equal to 12 miles. During your vacant time, try to solve the following sample problems. Remember, correct practice makes perfect. Let's have a quick recap. For number 1, points are located horizontally from each other. The y coordinates will be the same. So what about their x coordinates? These are not equal. That's why the distance is equal to the absolute value of the difference of their x coordinates. We have now d is equal to the absolute value of x of 2 minus x of 1. Number 2, points are located vertically from each other. The x coordinates will be the same. And what about their y coordinates? These are not equal. That's why you have to find the absolute value of the difference of their y coordinates, and that is equal to the absolute value of y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Number 3, points are located diagonally from each other. Then from Pythagorean theorem will help us to find the distance of a slant line or a diagonal line using the distance formula. And that is d is equal to the square root of quantity x of 2 minus x of 1 squared plus quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. And a way of checking is by using the Pythagorean theorem, and that is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So that will be the end of our lesson for this day. So I hope you learn a lot on how to find the distance between 2 points. Either it is vertically, horizontally, and diagonally. Thank you for listening. Keep safe and God bless us all.